There we go.
Great.
Every meeting. This is my actually it's not my New Year's resolution because I've been doing it for about 6 months. Every meeting starts with a banjo or guitar, some sort of live music.
It's excellent.
And it really
Excellent.
does make a difference.
Yeah. Okay. However, it
However,
screws it screws with the sound. I'm just going to turn you up a bit, and then later I'll need to turn you down after it figures out that you're done with the banjo.
no, okay, cool.
Um,
Now, why am I only seeing the top left portion of your screen on this stream?
OBS, what? What?
What?
What? Just what? I don't know.
FOBS.
It was it was fine a minute ago.
Okay, are you seeing the same thing or
There, how's that?
oh, it'll take it 30 seconds to catch up.
Okay. Well,
There it
um,
is.
okay,
Yes,
good.
I see it. It looks much better.
I don't know. I probably clicked something accidentally.
And
This is
there
fine.
you are, and there I am. What is this application? I
Okay.
see total value created is going up, and we don't have to do anything.
Right. Right.
Are
So
these real dollars, Jess? That's the first question.
they are real integers in the computer. Well, JavaScript numbers technically.
So if I took an electron microscope and I went and I looked at the memory cells
You
with an
might
electron,
see
I
some
would see
electrons
actual
flying.
electrons.
Actual electrons.
But
Yeah,
but
actually,
more difficult to. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
the book I've been reading at the moment talks about how amazing it is that computers embody symbolic logic in a way that makes it real in the world. We've got these like tiny microcosms where um, where on off absolutes and precise logic actually works. Before the 50s, it was only on the philosopher's desk.
That's true.
It was the only place symbolic
And
logic
and
existed.
the more of it we made real, the easier it was to make more of it.
Um,
So your CAD tool would
yeah.
design a processor which ran faster than your
Mm,
other processor, which meant that your CAD tool ran better.
right, because we use our tools to make better tools.
Exactly. So
That's totally
the
one of the definitions of software.
positive feedback loop or reinforcing loop, as we say on systemsthinking.dev
Reinforcing.
on a regular basis. Okay, what's the name of the book? I'll put a link.
That is Turing's Man. It's
Okay.
over there. Out of reach.
Western culture in computer age.
Right.
Awesome.
It's an old book. It's written in the 80s. But I think it's written at a beautiful time when computers were still sufficiently new for people to not take them for granted. And it talks its overall theme, I think, is about the metaphors of computers, and before that, it talks about some sort of spindle thing that was important in Greek times, and then the steam engine in Victorian times. So we saw our systems going from being I forgot the name of the thing that starts with a V and spins around and makes wool, um, or makes thread. From thinking of the universe working like that to thinking of the universe as a machine, and now we think of the universe as a computer, of course, as
An
information processing.
orrery,
No, that wasn't the word it used.
the thing that simulates the solar system.
Oh, that would be the solar system as machine, universe as machine.
Orrery, ORRERY.
That sounds like
And I received one as a child
yeah.
and sat there and watched for
Oh,
most of a day
cool.
while Pluto did one orbit.
Wow.
My Uncle Al loved me.
$900 on Etsy. How cool.
Yeah. Oh, if you want to set a child on a path to geekdom, that is definitely one to do.
Neat.
Okay, so back to our
But
and I
we
have
are simulating software development here.
exactly.
So we're simulating our simulations as we do.
Sure. Who
And we've made some progress since the last time you saw this.
Okay.
So let's see. I'll
Tell me about it.
refresh and start over. This so far models the naive manager's fantasy linear model of software value.
Okay.
So we do some work on features. That work on feature feeds into software capabilities. As the software capabilities grow, the software has value. And so every second of its existence, it's producing value for some imaginary users not pictured. And therefore, the total value created goes up over time of that software's existence. So when we work, we increase the value that the software has, and that value just keeps accruing and accruing. Now, what I've just added, and this is the concept of a software team, that you don't work by yourself, but that let's see if this works. Watch out. But that you can have multiple members on your team. In fact, if I just use multiple tabs, that will have that effect. Let's see if this works right now.
That's how easy it is to make software development go faster.
Right. Again, linear increases with teams. So each person has a value per second. This is not updating yet. Right now, the app sends exactly one message. And this one, how do I move tabs? No, not that. God, no. I just want to use a keyboard shortcut to move to a different browser tab.
Okay. I don't have a moral problem with that.
What does it do? I want to know. Because the tab that I want is, of course, behind Zoom's. Yes, thank you, Zoom. Let me try again on sharing my screen. The tab that I want is behind Zoom. Okay, we're going to Google this right now. Edge,
Okay.
switch, tabs, keyboard, shortcut.
Edge? What is Edge?
Microsoft's browser.
Oh, never heard of it. Sorry.
It generally
My
does not suck,
apology.
especially now that it's based on Chrome. It's built on Chrome, so all the Chrome extensions work. No. Control 1, 2, 3. Okay, that could work. I'd rather increment to the right, but oh, there it is. Control tab, it says. Okay, that's working. All right, now I'm able to go. What is this nonsense? I don't know. Here's okay. So the original now has 3 Freds because it saw those other 2 members join.
Okay.
There is a back end. It is the dumbest, crappiest back end in the world.
Okay.
It is
really. I mean,
it is literally Amazon's sample app for their WebSocket API.
Okay. Okay.
I pushed the deploy button on their super minimal, simple, dumb WebSocket chat demo.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm using.
Okay.
No modifications.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's how dumb it is. But all I needed was a message broker between different people's browsers.
Okay.
So now this is 1 and this is 2.
Gave it to you.
Yeah. Ooh, I should change the title to include the person's name once I have input for their names. Right now, everyone is named Fred.
Well, I mean, that limits the addressable market size, but other than that,
they do have UUIDs, of course, behind that, but that are unique. But all right, there it is. This is what I've got.
Okay, we have 3 Freds, so we need different names for different people. Fine.
Yes, we need names. We need to actually send updates, and we need to handle receiving multiple messages.
Okay.
From different people.
We can do that.
Or from the same people, multiple messages from the same people. Currently, it doesn't. This is the absolute minimum. But that's where we are. We technically have the ability to work as a team.
Okay.
What would you like to change first?
According to 1990X, at one point they had a dozen Matts on one team, so 3 Freds is not the least bit unrealistic.
Approve. Approve.
Well, for everyone named Fred, I suppose you have to have one person named Fred before you can have 3. So, okay. So what? So now we have team development.
Yes. Yes. This is
and,
still the
and
fantasy of linear growth.
and no updates. So I think we should have
Right.
updates
Right.
before we put in the
name.
the inhibiting loops.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I would like to have like total team value created show up on here too.
Yes.
Right now I'll settle for actually I was thinking for updates, I want like a status report button, because if you're sitting here working on features, you have to take time away from that to send a status report to your team.
That's true. That's true.
So I was thinking a separate button for send status report.
That'll interfere with your ability to develop.
Right?
It's so realistic.
Yeah.
This is going to become realistic enough that it will be so annoying that people will this okay.
That's the trick. There's a balance between how realistic and how fun.
No. I think actually this is our what's it application test driven development. Our application test is somebody will use feature clicker, get so annoyed that they drop out of software development before they even
Okay. Yeah, that would be a success. All right. That is a victory condition.
Wow, you are just developing up a storm.
Yeah, I've spent too much time on this, but mostly, as it is most of it's fighting things. The development
Yes.
environment is not smooth.
Okay.
Not
Well,
smooth. But I figured out how to turn off ESLint.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it just got to be too much at the point where I it was yelling at me about not using camel case when I had deliberately chosen not to use camel case in one case. And I turned the rule off and it still kept yelling at me about camel case. And I finally figured out how to Stack Overflow.
That's
3
good.
answers down. Turned the whole thing off.
What? Okay. Good.
This is fine.
That qualifies as self-care.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to see the code?
Sure.
Okay. We want to send updates. That's
we want to send updates.
Here, I spent the morning refactoring this. I got it technically working yesterday, and then I spent the morning making it look like I want. Okay, so here's the top level app. There's the component template up here where I've separated the team board from the individual work, which is still called Hello World. There's a historical artifact.
For verisimilitude.
But now the system behind the SVG, which is this whole piece where you do your work and click on features, is represented as this individual work, and the team board is represented as a team system. Now,
okay,
down
we'll work
here,
on naming.
Good. Yeah, it needs some. But here's some stuff that I made today. So this used to be called important things.
Yes.
This was the important things in the important file. So now that one is about individual work, and there's a separate file about the team system that models the team and does all the WebSocket stuff.
Yes. Okay, good.
And then there's explicitly a relationship between them. That's modeled as a separate object that controls the interrelationships.
Okay.
Right
I'll have
now,
to see what the code,
that's
what the
just
code
status
for that
reports.
looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the relationship is necessary to instantiate the individual and instantiate the team. And then that individual that's over here. It's just got some debugging stuff. Right now, the only interrelationship is that the individual can send status reports to the team. That's it.
Okay.
But the individual can call hookup individual after they construct themselves, and the team can hook up the team. So the relationship exists as like a placeholder to begin with until you plug in the status reports. Oh, here, plug in the incoming status reports, plug in the outgoing status reports.
Right. Okay. And is there ever going to be the symmetrical hookup into fire individual? No, that's maybe too aggressive.
Well, there'll definitely be stuff like someday you'll be able to write documentation, for instance, to help your team, or build infrastructure that helps your whole team, as opposed
Okay.
to, or you can choose to optimize your IDE, which only helps your productivity. But at some point, the team will have effects on individuals' ability to get work done.
Okay. Yes, as it does.
As it totally does. Yeah. So this is a
All right.
two-way relationship and can hook up both ways. The starting point is just status reports, and the only status report we have currently is the initial here I am doing nothing that I've told you about.
Okay, so this the thing inside of there, the tick 0 VPS 0, that could turn into a real object.
Yeah,
easily.
that's this VPS is value per second.
So we can polymorphically have a bunch of different.
Oh, yeah, we could send different messages.
Right.
Someday.
Okay.
Right now, all we know how to send is status reports.
Yeah. All right. So, but we don't update the other tabs, right? Is that what we need to do next?
Don't update. Well, we never send a second status report. This status report gets broadcast to everyone who's connected. There's only one team. This gets broadcast to everyone who's connected, but it's only sent once. So if instead we had a button to send status reports, then we could send the latest again and get updates on what our team members are doing.
Okay.
And then the team board would change.
Okay.
Okay.
So what visible behavior do we want to change next?
Well, I would like to have a button to click on.
Okay.
To trigger a status report. That would be useful. Where should we put it?
Does it matter?
Not
really.
really.
Besides not on top of something that's already there?
Well, I mean, we could have it zip around and bounce and be hard to catch, but yeah, let's
That's
just stick
the opposite. That's the opposite of status reports, which inexorably march on.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so here is our hello world. That's our individual system. We have a thing for the feature work, a thing for the capabilities, and a thing for the value created. So that's like 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
We can have a separate one for
separate one for status report.
Status report. Okay. Doesn't really matter. Status report. Oh, send status report. Okay, because this doesn't represent the status report itself, but the possibility of sending one. All right. So we can reference that. In order for that to work, we need to tell the hello world about the status report component. For that to work, we need to import it. Send status report. From some file. I'm not good at typing today.
Okay.
How about create file? No, that would be useful. Development environment is not great. Technically works most of the time. Not great. Okay, so I need a new file. Send status report.view. In order for that import to work, I have to give it some TypeScript, and that TypeScript has to export a class. Export default class send status report. Okay, so now this.
Now it should work, but it won't show up as anything. Is that correct?
Yeah, hypothetically. I don't expect that to build. Yeah, it doesn't build. See, the IDE and this are not completely consistent because status report is not yet a component. So we have to tell it it's a component. And we have to make it, for that to work, we have to make it extend view, and we have to get those components view from view property decorator, semicolon, enter, save, there.
No type errors found. Your code will work, guaranteed. Okay, and then if we run it,
it might be angry that I don't have a template in here.
Well, we'll find out soon.
Yeah, when I create one.
Can you just like a text? Yeah, okay, fine.
That might not actually work because it's within an SVG. No guarantees on the back end, yo. Cannot read property functional of undefined. There it is. All right. Technically working right now.
Okay. So we don't see it. We don't see it, and we didn't expect to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's make a shape. How about a rectangle?
Perfect.
High isn't going to help. Class equals send status report.
And now does CSS force us to make a tag called send status report?
Does it force us? No.
If we try and run it now, what are we going to see?
Nothing, because I haven't given the rectangle a width and a height.
Okay. Okay.
Now I will choose to give it a fill and stuff, but I can do something like x equals 10, I think it's x equals 10, y equals 10, height equals 20, width, then this is an SVG coordinates is 60, and now we might see something.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Wow. Awesome.
Okay, so then we can futz with this. We can make it like taller and wider, and we can then, I'll go down to style, scoped / style, and then I can say dot send status report to reference the class, and I can give it a fill of light orange, and a stroke, I think, that is black, and a stroke width of 2 pixels. And we might see something different. Maybe not. It's okay. Maybe not. Expect. It's still got the old stuff. I don't know.
Send status report.
Refresh. Well, it's larger. It got larger.
Stroke with fill. Why is fill colon light orange?
Apparently orange isn't a good color. No, not blue. Blue is too nice. How about coral to match your pants? There. Okay.
All right. I do have coral pants. But the style stream is for next week. So.
Okay. What should we make it say on the button? Ooh, we should give it
a TPS.
Oh, okay. There's I think if I do R, I think that might give it a might. Apparently not. There's a way to give it like rounded corners. Oh well. that isn't it. TPS. All right, we'll put some text in the button. For that, I need to wrap it in an SVG so that we have.
Now, is it going to work now?
Yes, it's going to be the same.
You'll find that a large part of my contribution to the intellectual flow of this is just saying, what happens now? Will it work now? Could we have done half of this and then done the other half? Oh, it's messed up. Let's go back.
Right.
I
revert.
So I think, the Kent Beck bobblehead, it's just going to say those things. You just bop it on the head and it says one of those things
for 25 minutes.
Yeah. Tell you, and it's got a little accelerometer, so when you smash it across the room, it shuts up for a while. Says,
approve.
Are you ready to make progress again? Are you still having a tantrum? Either way is fine. I like this bobblehead idea.
Yeah. I think that could be useful to people. We were gonna add text.
Okay, text.
It's going to say TPS.
Yeah.
Report.
And now, will it work?
Oh yeah, you can kind of see it up here.
But it's not centered.
So we need to say, let's put height equals the middle of the rectangle, which would be 60.
You can't just say centered? Sorry.
50. We're in an SVG. This is not. Okay. I still need to tell it to center itself.
Okay.
That comes down here where I can say text. And then you can say align. Hold on. I'm going to go to something else that has text in it. You have text in it and see what I put in there. There's some.
And you're doing two things at once too. So.
By moving it and aligning it.
You move the text. We could see what it does now.
Okay.
And it should move down and towards the center, right?
Yeah.
But not necessarily be perfect.
Okay. Just reload, you wanker thing.
Okay, it didn't do that, but whatever.
Height is 60 with this. Oh, it's probably X and Y.
Okay.
We're in an SVG.
Find out. Should move now, if that is correct. There it is. All right.
Okay, now we just want to tell it that that's the middle instead of the side. We find something that has text on it. I don't think this has text on it. No, that's the system. Let's just type script.
Hello, 20 people who currently have nothing better to do.
It is a Sunday.
It is a Sunday. It's a New Year's. It's a Sunday. I suppose we're mildly entertaining as these things go.
It'll get more entertaining as it goes badly. Okay.
Exactly.
I know I want user select none, but there's something about middle. Yeah, text anchor middle this. I want text anchor middle. I don't want it to be selected. And then there's another thing somewhere.
Could you, style may be questioned. Could you put that text anchor middle up above?
I could. Well, not with it. It is my preference to put it down here consistently.
Yeah.
Because then it works for all text in the component, and I can just find it better.
Yep.
So text anchor middle.
Wait, what's it going to look like now?
It's going to be centered in one direction.
Okay.
Maybe.
The hot vertically or horizontally?
I don't remember.
No.
Fuck, or not, whatever. Yeah, total value created is using text anchor middle. But there was also I just fuzz with this stuff because I don't actually like understand it. This is not
Shout out, as the kids say these days, to Flawless Plan in London. You have all of London available to you, and this is what you're watching. We'd like to thank you for your time
Dude,
and attention.
Linda's not available. It's probably shut down like everything in the fucking world except
Also
Zoom.
true. Also true.
I'm unhappy lately.
You are you?
Yeah.
That's a sensible reaction to the shit bag we've been handed.
Okay. Okay, it actually
This
hates
is a
text
cussing
anchor
stream, by
middle.
the way, to
Invalid
everyone.
property value. Maybe it likes it
Invalid.
better up high. Maybe it doesn't even work down there, even though I've got it down there in several places. Maybe it doesn't even work.
We'll put it up. Yeah. And then see what
There
happens. Make it right. Make it run. Make it right.
SVGs, like, okay. All right, so text anchor colon middle doesn't actually do anything.
Okay.
There are a lot of properties that you can put in CSS or
Mhm.
um, uh, or on the SVG component itself.
Mhm.
And there are others that only work in one place or the other. It
And
doesn't,
which is which? I want the answer.
right?
Jessica,
Yeah,
just tell me.
that there's some documentation somewhere that will give you a clue, but again, it's going to be browser by browser in
Okay.
real life because we don't work in just one world. Okay,
No.
there's something about the
Sometimes we don't even work.
baseline.
Flawless Plan is here for the cursing. I'm
It'll
not sure
happen.
our cursing is copious, but it's not
I
very
curse a
creative, I
lot.
would say. But okay.
Um,
Wait, where are we? What are we doing? Now we have the
we
now
got
we
it
have
in the
the
middle one
report
direction.
button.
Now I need to move it up.
Do you? Or do we need to get it
Fuck
working
it.
now? Is this working well enough?
Ugh, no. I can get it close. I can do
Okay.
like this or something
Okay.
and
No,
get it close
be
enough that I can
you-
stand it. There, I can stand it there.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
one of the qualifications for we can move on is I don't hate working on this app.
Yes.
Start the status report button. This is too much stuff
Missing
at once, but this is normal. Um,
missing close quote. Oh,
that's
you
deliberate.
you're talking
Text anchor middle. Text
about,
anchor only works on the SVG elements, not in CSS.
fair
Text,
enough.
that's out of order, whatever. I've started trying to put in each commit message like something that I learned since there's so
Yes.
much.
Yes. I have I tried to institute that once at Facebook
Hmm.
and was not successful as a social change experiment, but I
Mm.
think it is a good idea.
Okay. Um,
Okay.
now we need to be able to push it, and it needs to do something when we push it. So a regular button that's not an SVG element um, would it has some sort of responsiveness. It shows you when it clicks it.
Mm-hmm.
This one I had to do,
Okay.
but it's not hard. It wasn't hard because it was just CSS.
Does
So
Vue have like a button component already that we're reproducing because we're clever enough to do a better job?
we're in an SVG.
Okay.
So this
Oh,
whole
the
square
whole
is
thing
an
is an
SVG.
SVG.
Yes.
Got it.
Now it's
So
physically
we don't.
possible to put an HTML button over the SVG.
Yeah, but fuck.
But so far, my architecture here is we're building this system in SVG because I decided to do that, and there it is. And I don't have enough reason to uh, complicate it
Go. Good enough. Good
by
enough.
combining both HTML and SVG. I definitely wanted SVG for like these little shapes um,
Yeah.
that are moving along, which I have animated poorly. And it's possible to do all these shapes in CSS, by the way. It is totally possible to draw this in CSS, but it is so fucking much simpler in SVG. It's ridiculous. SVG, you're like, put a circle here. Now, this doesn't work in mobile at all, but that's okay. SVG, put the circle here. Whereas in CSS, you're like, oh, well, if I combine the border radius with 6 other tricky characteristics, then it has the effect of making it into a circle, making it look like a circle. It is physically possible to do all of this, and the throwing little rectangles and stuff and blah, blah, blah. I don't know CSS well enough to do that, but I can say rectangle from here to here.
And it just makes one.
And it makes one. Yes. So that's what we're doing here.
And
I can
we
make
are
it
very
bounce around
much
and shit.
we are very much in make it run mode.
Yes.
We want the dynamic of being able to get credit. Oh, Jess, we've talked about this and just how many ideas this app generates.
Yeah,
And
it does.
I'm having more. I want there to be performance reviews where you get credit for the features you've produced, but you can also choose to steal credit from other people as opposed to creating more
working.
features. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be a thing.
And then there's some threshold above which nobody gets anything done because they're all just stealing credit from each other.
Yeah. Okay, here's the do work button. Classes feature work. And if now I am totally using CSS where I do know how to do something. This R is one of the properties that it will let you put in CSS, and it will let you modify it and animate it with CSS animations, which are very easy. Because all I do is I say feature work active, which means clicked on, and then I change one property.
Okay. And then it goes from one appearance to another appearance.
Yes, and then it goes back when it's no longer active.
Got it.
So I can take that and use it in our other one that I had open. Stop. Send status report.
Do you need the column on the right?
No, you're right. I don't need this right now. Thanks.
You're welcome. I'm here to pay attention.
Yeah, pairing is good for that. Okay, so when we get the send status report class, it's actually a rectangle, whatever. Rect.send status report. Also here. Now, rectangles don't have an R property. I'm going to do something dumb and see if the width and height will work here. See if it can go from 65 to 70 on like width. I'll need to take it out here, or that would override it. And I'm going to, okay, no, it went away entirely. All right, so it looks like width is not one of those properties that I can just do that with. If you have any ideas, let me know. Rect SVG property CSS animation. Animating SVG rect X property. Okay. No, I don't want Stack Overflow. Give me some documentation right now, would you? This is some. Great. Okay. Rx is 15. So the R's give you the rounded Rx and Ry for rounding corners. Geometry. Oh, okay. X, Y, width, height, Rx are geometry properties, meaning those attributes can also be used as CSS properties for that element. I do not observe that. That is not what I observed. I set the width in CSS, and the rectangle went away.
Just went away and never came back. Should it have come back? Would we expect that, given the current?
Because I undid, yeah.
Okay.
So here, let's futz with it in the browser.
Okay. Always.
So here's our width of 70, and the browser says invalid property value. So
well,
what does the
no.
documentation know? Reality is in the browser.
Correct.
Let's see if I can futz with the X. Would you just let me fucking type X 20 200. Okay, I can move X and Y, it seems like.
But you can't change width.
That's dumb. The fuck, Chrome? RX 10. Look, I can give it rounded corners. How about we do
Beautiful.
that?
Okay, we'll give it rounded corners while we click it.
So normally it has 0 RX. Transition property is RX. But sometimes it has an RX of 10, and that is while it's active.
Okay.
Just refresh entirely, please.
Yes. So you expect the corners to kind of squeeze in and then let go, correct?
Yep. Not working.
And this is not happening.
No.
Why is it squiggle lining the RX?
Oh, there's the documentation. There's the browser. And then there's the IDE and whatever the fuck plugins fucking think shit works. Okay. And then there's what the build thinks. And then there's what the test build thinks, which is, as far as I can tell, a different version of TypeScript. Okay. So, and then there's the linter,
which we have tossed out the window.
Yes, because we can't get it in sync with. And then there's the auto formatter plugin, which is different from the error plugin. And then. The only question is, does it work in the browser? And I don't even give a fuck about anybody else's browser, just mine.
It's fair enough.
Right now. But we should prepare for that in the workshop. Should active be hover? I don't actually. Thank you, Dr. Lambda. I actually meant clicked on, but let's try hover. That's a good idea.
Yeah. That should give us faster feedback.
Trust you. Ooh, did you see that?
What? Yeah.
Oh.
It just twitches.
Oh, it twitches.
Thank you, Dr. Lambda.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
we'll be sending you your memorial Lamborghini in the post.
Okay, hold on.
There is no actual Lamborghini.
When I hover over the text, the corners go away. This brings in an important point. When I put the click here text on there, I had to make it so that when you click on click here, you're not clicking on click here, you're clicking on the circle behind click here.
Okay.
And there was a point, there's something I did for that. I think it was pointer events none. So we want our text to not care about pointer events. So now I expect to be able to hover over the text and have the corners wiggle in. Whoop, there they go. Whoop.
Okay.
That's
something. Can we get that sound effect too? Can we yeah. Can you capture that? It's stupid that our computers can't. Yeah, you should be able to just record that clip.
No doubt. I'm sure this is possible to get it to play a sound.
I'll put it on the fun list.
Okay, put it on the fun list. I don't know how to make it play a sound. Plus, I fucking hate it when any web page plays a sound. So, but then again, this is a game, and games have sounds, and that would make sense.
It's true. And you can add voiceover actor to your resume. Whoop. That's all it takes.
There you go. Let's see, fill coral. I could change its color, I think. Whoop. Nope, I'm wrong. Whoop. Oh, yep, I'm right. Whoop, whoop. It's very subtle. Let's make it not subtle.
Yeah. Between the two of us, we are subtle as a brick. A large brick.
Oh, there. Okay, so now when you hover over it, it turns purple and angry.
Okay.
But now I want that to be active. And by active, I mean clicked on. Now, oh, it's doing it. Okay, the
Yay.
problem was probably that the text was absorbing the clickiness. So when you
Yep.
click, it kind of flashes like that. Well, let's
Yep.
make
Okay.
the transition shorter. And so probably the pointer event's none. There, it responds. It notices that you clicked.
Okay. Okay.
Good enough,
So
right? Good enough.
is that good enough visually for you, Jess?
Yes.
You know me, I would happily have made it look uglier and gone on, but we're here to get both of our needs met as
Yeah.
part of the process.
Okay, that it twitches. It twitches at you. I'll live with it.
Okay.
We can change it later.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that. Oh, shut up, phone. Um,
Temporarily purple square reports. 1990X, could you get the t-shirt design for that, please?
temporarily purple square. It's
It's
even better because it's not square. I love it.
it's our first swag.
Second square.
Absolutely. And it'll be so in. Only the 21 people on this stream will know what temporarily purple square means. And they'll be like walking around an airport and see somebody else with the purple t-shirt and go,
Yeah. Yeah, we could make it send if you don't click this often enough, we could make it pop bubbles that say where are your TPS reports.
yes, perfect.
Um, okay. The button exists. Now, when they click the button, we want to send another one of these as status report.
Yes.
Okay, so here, let's see, we also did that on do feature work. So the do feature work, when this is the other button that you can click. And I'll show you the structure of that with RxJS. So that click event happens on the circle. Here it is. The dot prevent modifier doesn't seem to work as far as I can tell, but we use this v stream, which comes out of the Vue RxJS integration project. And then that stream, what did I call it? I called it something. Do work. So do work exists on the component. There it is. I pass it in as a property because it's an output.
Okay.
It's an output to the higher level concepts. So we want to do something like that on send status report. We want a property inside here. It's a required property. It's going to say send reports, and it'll say send status report. Please. I don't want to name it the same as that. Subject, good job. VS Code, you figured something out. Good job. Okay, now this.
I like how you're encouraging the IDE. Oh,
Once in a while, it gets something right.
great.
Sometimes highlighting
That's
this is
some
also
next level mom shit right there.
Okay,
Parent.
send status report, please.
So now we need a class for this somewhere.
Oh, I need to define this type somewhere. Is a kind of individual work that we can do, just like click on feature work.
Yes.
In fact, it's exactly like click on feature work because it's also a click event.
Yes.
Um,
At what point do we draw the line between user interface vocabulary like click and domain vocabulary like send status report?
So one reason I made these type names is because you shouldn't actually care what is in this. It's really a signal.
Okay.
And I could map the observable to Go or TPS or whatever. This could just be a string.
Okay. So my question still stands though. At what point do we draw the line between the vocabulary that we use
Yeah.
There's some vocabulary which is very much connected to the user interface and the fact that there's mice and X's and Y's and stuff. And then underneath that, there's a model layer, which you could be feeding it from a script. You could be feeding it from a user interface and you don't care. And click on feature work and send status report, please. They don't go together.
Oh,
Do you understand my question?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So on one hand, there's this event stuff, which really doesn't matter. That this
Yep.
is UI,
Yeah.
and in fact, it's not used. But these names are domain.
Okay. So click on
So
feature
this
work.
could be called do some feature work.
New feature work. Okay. And so can you go ahead and program a little bit? I had a banjo request.
Oh, goody.
So I'll do a little bit more. Now, do you have to change my sound settings or something?
They'll change themselves. Not
the only programming stream with banjo breaks. Now, if that isn't strictly speaking true, that's actually a good thing for the world because we need more banjo breaks. But if it is strictly speaking true, then I actually pointed out our unique position.
If it's not unique,
Vector Loaf, that strange feeling in your legs says that you wore someone else's pants and the blood supply is being cut off and you should put on a pair of baggier pants. But thanks for checking in.
Feature work done. Okay. So do work maps to individual feature work done. What would we want to call this in the individual work system? Time to send report, not time to send report. Report sent. Or report triggered. Oh yeah, it is a triggered. Trigger report.
Why is this going in the template?
So we're sending the property down, the property of the output function.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Which we could set inside of the send status report component.
We have the wiring between the levels of components happens here.
Okay.
When you send the property to the template.
Okay.
So one way or another, we have to give the send status report a way to send it out, and we have to do that here. This is where the subcomponent gets wired in. It's under global variables.
Okay.
Okay, so now individual needs to have work needs to have a trigger report that can receive those click events. So now I need the individual work. And it currently has a feature work done, which is like this. So I need one of those, but for trigger report, or did I call it report trigger? Cut and paste just. What did I just call it? Trigger report.
Trigger report.
This. Okay, trigger report is new subject of send status report, please. Because a subject can receive those events and send them back or send them out to whoever subscribes. So here's feature work done. I pretty sure at the public interface. No, it does need to be a subject. Yeah, I need to send a subject. Trigger, report, subject, send status report, please. There. Okay.
So I will. I don't want you to change what you're doing,
Okay.
but I will admit to not knowing what the fuck is going on.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
don't change what you're doing. I'm just going to absorb the pieces that I can absorb right now.
Okay.
And about the fifth time I see it, I'll go, "Oh, is that it?" And
I need
then
to kind of draw this.
okay.
Let me.
Sure. Just get OBS to allow you to draw things. That's going to happen.
Not annotate. Give me a whiteboard. Well, I could share. That's easy. OBS is screen sharing. I can make something be on my screen that lets me draw. I think Microsoft has like this whiteboard.
I'm sorry I brought it up, Jess. I really didn't want to break the flow.
This is really important.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then good. I'm glad I brought it up.
There you go. OneNote kind of works with the touch screen. It's not spectacular.
Okay.
Fuck you. Go on. Well, Microsoft, just open the stupid app. No, just open the app. Just give me a piece of goddamn paper.
So that introductory button should be labeled, instead of getting started, should be I'll just fuck off then, shall I?
No. Okay. Where's the go away button for like all this shit? Wow, this is old stuff. Where's the go away button? And just give me a new fucking thing. Okay. Thank you. All right. Control N gave me a new fucking thing. All right. So, okay. Now what do I have to do to draw on this? Draw. Okay. Pen. All right.
Woo!
No, I mean fucking draw. What is so hard about this? Okay. Okay, it's doing it. Finally. I made a box.
You did make a box without any SVG or any of that stuff. So.
All right. So at the core of RxJS, which is the functional reactive library for JavaScript, is a subject. And a subject is a message broker.
Which means?
You can put stuff in it. And you can send, and it will send stuff out to its subscribers.
Okay.
So you can get in this you can get in this list of subscribers with .subscribe. And then that puts you in this list and you get all subsequent messages.
I like the colored drawing.
Yeah, I do like these like palette pens. There's a couple ways to send messages in. One is you can like manually call .next and just shove a message into the subject.
Okay.
But the other way is it can subscribe to other things. It can be a subscription. So .next, send something in, but also it can subscribe to other things. This side of the interface, a subject is an observable.
Yes, okay.
And each of these, you can't see where my finger is pointing.
No, I can't.
Okay, each of these circles, so this part of the interface that lets it be a circle to another subject or whatever, is called observer.
Okay.
So RxJS, at some level, hooks up observers to observables, and observables emit when they do, and observers receive that message and can do something with it. In the case of a subject, that something is pipe it through to all its subscribers.
Okay.
Now, there are other kinds of observables that are weirder, like the click stream that will get wired up to our subject that we passed in is called a hot observable. and it just sends its clicks once to somebody, and then discards them. There are other observables that you hook in, and they send you 0 through 10, and then you could subscribe again and get 0 through 10 again, and um, they're not live in that sense. They're recorded.
Okay.
And those are called cold observables. The subject, I believe by default, is a hot observable in my observation, in the sense that when it gets a message in, it sends it to everyone who's currently subscribed, and does not, by default, some of them you can use special subjects that do this, but your default subject implementation does not save messages for later.
Okay.
There are other implementations of the subject interface that have that behavior. So one really tricky thing about RxJS is you're wiring all these things together at the abstract level of observers and observables, but they do not all have the same behavior. Not even close. There is no list-gob substitution in this.
Okay.
They fit together, but they don't do the same thing when they fit together.
Okay.
FYI.
Which is good for some reason that I don't understand yet.
Well, it's necessary. I mean, sometimes you want an observable that emits 0 through 10.
Okay.
Other times you want one that emits the current mouse pointer position.
So this is an alternative to writing a bunch of procedural code.
Yeah.
We set up this network of
Yep.
subjects and observers and events, and carefully design the events
That
so
flow
that
through these streams.
so that we can build this. Now, does it ever happen that you have different layers of abstraction? You'll have user interfacey stuff flowing through this layer, and then every once in a while that'll emit something down in at the next layer, which is more domain like, or
Oh yeah, you just map it, right? So we should hypothetically be mapping these, mapping the click events to something domain E instead of passing through the click event.
okay,
Right? So like
yeah, if the event is useful for too long, you probably made a mistake.
yes. So this is very UI driven. And for instance, we might want to change our send status report, please, to the string TPS for now, such that we could change it later to be our own data report structure. All right. So that means the subject that we want to accept things, here, it becomes a subject of TPS. And then it's really in our component that we should be translating from click event, which is native to this level of abstraction,
Yeah.
to TPS, which is native on the way up. So I think we can do that if we make another field. Send report is coming in from the outside. That's domain level. We could make another subject in here that is
Another subject. Okay.
yeah, subject, another box. Because I need it to be a box to receive the click events. Clicking on button, which is a subject of of event. Okay. And that subject is going to receive them. We'll just make a new one here. And so then in the UI, we would say, oh, we didn't even have it wired up yet, vstream click, and then prevent further consequences of the click. This doesn't work, but I wish it did, so I'll just say it. It's supposed to. Equals, and then oh, yes, so this is a binding, and so we bind it to a property of our component, which we called clicking on button.
Okay.
Okay, and then what we can do is in our constructor of the component, we can hook these two things together. We can say, You've given us an observer. There's a more specific interface. Oh, fuck you. Of send status report. And we can say, when we start up this component, wire up the clicking on button subject to the send report subject.
Okay.
Why does it hate me? Okay. Super. Whatever. To that should say this dot send report. And now it's complaining because of the types. So what we want to do in our drawing, we just took a separate subject. Where's that pretty pen? Here. So this one wants to contain TPS. That's the one that we passed in. And this one wants to contain events.
Okay.
And so we're going to connect them, but we have to do a translation first.
Okay. Okay. And let me point out, we're changing the structure of the system, even though we haven't finished with the behavior.
Oh, sure.
Likely a small mistake, but not worth backing out of.
Right. At the moment, we have switched objectives toward explanatory ones. And
yes.
So this is
okay.
an exercise in that direction.
Okay.
So the
Keep
thing
going.
is that we want to pipe those events through some operations. And we're going to import those operations from rxjs/operators.
Oh, this is where the piping and all that stuff goes.
And one of them is called map. And so, actually, here's easier. One of them is called map2. Map2 TPS.
Which, when this gets triggered, it maps that to a TPS and away it goes.
That is the idea, yeah.
Is it possible to unit test these? So we're building this big graph and we expect shit to flow through it. And when we trigger this over here, something over there is coming out. Is there a way to unit test this without having a user interface pop up?
I spent a lot of time trying to get that to work. There are various pieces of garbage on the internet that purport to tell you how to test with RxJS, and I have yet to find one that works.
Okay. Fair
Because
enough.
it is a pain in the ass because it is so asynchronous and lazy and asynchronous.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay, and the type system is giving me some shit. But I think I know how to fix it. There. Okay. All right, there. So now I can make, instead of clicking on button, which gives events, I map it to TPS and I get an observable of TPS.
Okay. Got it. Can we put a console log someplace to make sure that this all works?
Yeah, good idea. Let's go with
impossible.
So this what did we hook it up to? Clicking on button. We can subscribe to that. SUB with a console.log of TPS report triggered.
Yeah. Okay,
because subjects always multicast. As far as I know, so all subscribers will get all messages. All current subscribers, at least, will get all messages.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what's working now.
So now we expect to see.
I'm going to refresh
TPS
completely.
report triggered in the console.
Okay. Right. When we push it, yes, TPS report triggered.
Wow. Do that again.
This number gets slightly larger.
Oh my goodness. It works.
That much works. Now we put that at a low level in the component itself. So the question is, Now on our individual work, now hopefully we should be getting that into this trigger report. And then we can use that trigger report, we can wire it up to this status report subject that we send into the team relationship. So when we get anything at all on trigger report, it's always the string TPS.
Okay.
We want to translate that into, there's the string TPS, to this object, which is tick and value per second. That's the status report. It contains tick
Okay.
and value per second. And then we want to subscribe status reports, which goes to the relationship, to that. In order to do that, we need to bring in the value of the current tick and the current value per second.
Okay.
So now we're doing something like, if I get back to my drawing and I erase this, okay, I just move, damn it, okay, turn off the fingers, turn on the fingers. So we have a status report subject that gets sent to the relationship. So this is wired up to the team by the relationship. And what we need to send to that are reports. And so what we need is a pipe operation that translates what we have, which is TPS, the string TPS, into a report with a tick and a VPS. Well, what we have for a tick and a VPS are other observables. This part of the subject, at least, which are seconds since begin and values per second. And so we can set up this weird pipe operation triggered by TPS that combines it with these other observables in order to put together the report.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
And that's what we do with latest from. And that's going to give us our TPS along with the tick and the VPS in a little array that we can destructure in our map function. Oh, and this has to be in parentheses. This dot second since begin has the tick, and this dot capability stock has the values per second. Okay. Oh, and the types work out, so it'll probably work.
Yeah, you're so hopeful. I go for it.
Now,
I believe
I happen to know that it's not going to respond well to this. If it works, we'll see a different bug.
Okay. What bugs will we see?
The app is not set up to receive multiple responses from the same person.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we got one and we click the button. We got another. Whoop! Duplicate keys. That's the right error.
You have much better internal model of this than I do at the moment.
Well, yeah, I wrote it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So we should try a session where I type and you just tell me what to type.
Yes. And then
after 13 minutes, we will revert because the other option is I just whatever. Anyway.
I mean, we can do that now if you want. Do you have VS Code installed?
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Because it's going to take us 18 and a half hours to do this. Okay, so fix this because we got half an hour left in the session. We're going to do it. We're going to see some stuff. I'm still not quite sure what behavior we expect to see on the screen, but that's okay.
Okay, yeah, okay, so you saw us sending the reports. This is the another thing that this particular architecture makes very clear is how crucial your mental model is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wired up that trigger report observable, or the subject, which is an observable, whatever. So this trigger report observable, I wired it up to the button, and we saw that because we created the button and we wired it up here. And then I hooked it into this. But this is something that you don't know, but I know because I made it this morning.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
So this status reports, I happen to know, is instantiated here, and that's fine, but it's passed into the team relationship. So right now we're in the individual work system.
Okay.
And the individual work system is responsible for implementing this part of an interface to the team. It's the individual is responsible for knowing how to put together a status report, which is defined on the team side.
Okay.
Okay, so when I pass that status report to the relationship, it's the relationship's job to hook that up to the team.
Right. We saw that.
Okay, yeah, and that's here. It makes another subject in the middle. Here I've used a replay subject. Oh, that's what I forgot. Fuck. One. Uh, okay. Such that it will retain one message.
Wait, but it passed the type system, so it should have worked without that.
No, that just means it won't pass the wrong thing. It doesn't mean it will pass the right thing. It
Oh,
doesn't mean it
okay.
will pass anything at all.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's the thing about absolutes. 0 always works. You can say it absolutely passes this type of thing,
Okay.
even though it doesn't pass anything. Then that's always true.
Fair enough.
Okay.
And now we drift towards philosophy. So let's get back to this.
Okay. I read The Little Prince last night, and that's one of the conclusions I came to. Absolutes work when only at 0. There's like a king who rules everything on this entire planet. There's nothing on the planet. I rule everyone. There isn't anyone there. True statement, as long as no one is there.
As long as no one's, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll
You are the boss of everyone in your bathroom right now. I'm guessing there's no one in your bathroom.
There's no one in my bathroom here, correct?
See, you're the boss of everyone.
I am.
I'd say you were the boss of everyone in your apartment, but I know better than to think we're the boss of ourselves.
Also
What
true.
about, okay, there's a question in the chat. What about differing developer work states? For example, designing, writing code. Yeah, that could be added. So many things.
We're going to end up with an IDE here, and not just a single user IDE. We're going to end up with
The book was The Little Prince, but that was a very big abstraction from there. Oh, Tragai, hello. Oh, you found it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I put the
link
link
in
to
there.
Little Prince
Nice.
in there too.
It's a classic, definitely, and a very short classic.
Yeah, no, unbelievable. Like lives changed per word, off the charts.
We could do a whole like systems thinking thing based on systems thinking demonstrated in Little Prince.
We've been wondering where to like where to start our videos. Jess and I
that would be an
started
easy one.
our we've been talking about this for years, literally years, and we got more closer to action when we started talking about it, and we wanted to record videos, but to record videos we had to put together workshops so we'd know what people wanted, and we do have workshop. The 13 of you here should all attend and tell all of your friends, and then we'll be set. As long as they tell their friends. Called Invitation to Systems Thinking. Looks so good.
I did that on purpose.
So, but I like this Little Prince angle.
Oh yeah, it'd be a fun video to make.
Well, we could do a stream readings from the little prints with
That would be cute.
comments on systems thinking.
Okay, constructor.
All right. So
The,
where are we?
okay,
Back to
okay.
reality.
We were on the individual within team. The individual within team on the hookup individual. So this is a relationship. This
Yeah.
is why I really wanted dashes here to mark an edge. I settled for underscores, and then I had a big fight with the linter over that
Yeah, the linter's wrong.
and kicked it to the curb. In this one case, I very much don't want to use camel case. I wanted to make an edge. Okay, so the individual passes that status reports thing in, and this hooks it up to its own box. It's got a box that retains one message because it doesn't expect the team to be hooked up yet when the individual sends their first message.
Okay.
But it only retains the most recent one.
Okay.
If the individual manages to send multiples, we'll only save one, but eventually we get the hookup team. And the team then has this, gets this outgoing status report observer plugged in. So it has an observer of status reports. The individual interface provides the observable, the source, and the team provides the recipient.
Okay.
And that's the relationship so far. Okay, so the team then, this one is a mess because I've still got all the WebSocket in there. I would like to abstract the WebSocket stuff out a bit. There's some complications. Don't even get me started on how hard this was to get working yesterday.
Okay.
But here's the hookup team call. And here's where we provide a subject. This is a subject for the status reports. And somewhere or other, let's see, we made this send to server. I don't think I need that anymore. I didn't get to cleaning this class up. But somewhere that event 2, where does that get hooked up? Well, it gets hooked up to the WebSocket. Oh, right. That will send to the WebSocket. So this is the thing that sends to the WebSocket, this event 2. And that means the status reports get sent out to the team.
Okay.
So that
good.
sends the status reports out. But the bug that we're dealing with is on the receiving side.
Got it.
It doesn't yet handle receiving multiple status reports from the same person.
Okay.
And that comes in the events from server because the server echoes these messages back. It is the simple chat app. And so everything that you send to it gets echoed to you and everyone else.
Okay.
Okay. So that is coming back in events from server, which gets assigned to an instance variable, which I probably don't need to expose. Here's the important bit. We pipe it to a scan. Now, a scan is like a reduce, except it does things right. Scan says we're going to build up an accumulator.
Okay.
And every time we get a new event in, for the first event, we'll start with this accumulator, starting with the empty array.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time a new event comes in, we're going to put it on that array. And also we're going to save that total array. And then we're going to emit the array. So it's piping, it's translating one message to an array of all messages ever received.
Okay.
And that's what the scan does. It's a little painful.
Okay.
And then what I've done is that's going into team scores. So that represents the overview of the team. So this scan is building up an overview of the team status based on all status reports received.
Okay.
That gets wired in to the, so we can see that get wired in. I'll go to the top level app. The team system gets used here. So there's the team scores, observable, source of data. getting wired into the team board. And the team board uses it here. It gets it. It has renamed it to teammates, whatever. That's kind of pointless. And
And
then it makes a list.
Okay. And that only happens once? Is that why it's not updating?
This happens. This gets remade every time the value of the observable changes. So the observable is emitting all the messages it's ever received. Here's your summary of the team score every time. And then we get into here. And what happens is, as soon as we get 2 messages, it's like, oh my God, you have duplicate keys.
Okay.
And those
because
keys.
2 from the same person.
Yes, because we're using the same team member ID.
Got it. Even though the name's always Fred.
The name's always Fred, but the team member IDs, well, there's only one person playing. It's just me right now. So those are also the same every time. And the thing is, we only want the latest message from each team member to show in this list. Not every message ever.
Correct. Okay.
So we're using the wrong data structure.
Okay. Can we add another data structure in parallel? Get that working and then delete the current one?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Yeah, so like actually, we could do a translation at this point. It would be highly inefficient, but we could do a translation. Here. Right now, we've got that array. We could pipe it to a map function that takes the array too many of too many, and mate, we need name, VPS, and team member ID, and forms an object. Too many dot for each. What is there's probably a JavaScript function that says kind of a group by, but we'll just do for each. Let stuff equals empty object, and we could take each of these messages and stuff a dot team member ID and stick them in an object equals a. What are you so angry about? Okay, map. I haven't imported map. Import map from rxjs/operators.
I definitely need to read up on RxJS.
Yeah, it's its own thing, but I just it's so the right architecture for this particular modeling problem.
I have yet to experience that, but I trust you as my guide.
This is a record from team member ID to team member score. All right. So basically, I've got an array of all of them. What I really want is the last one per team member. The smallest change that I can make that will fix it is to do that translation here.
Okay.
This is not the efficient way. We should do that back in the accumulator. There's no need to pass every message ever and then reduce it.
Make it run, make it right. This is the make it run version. Now we should see that little status board update.
I need to translate this back into an array, I think.
Okay.
Because this on an object will just get the key, which is why it was an array. So I still want this to be an array on the way out. Right now, I would expect it to give us some undefineds in there. Yeah, the iteration isn't working. I don't think it has anything in here. Inspect. We can look. Yeah, it didn't find anything in the teammates. we've mapped. Oh, because I didn't even return anything from here. If I return stuff, I think we'll get a dot for each one.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it seems to be just working. It's possible that just works if it figures that could be Vue figuring it out. If we inspect this, we find Fred 0, which I think is what I've constructed. Oh, here, the real question is, get some values per second. Ha! It
And
updated.
voila.
Okay, now
Fantastico.
let's see what this one does. So here's a new one. Connects to the server, sends its own message, which it then gets. So here's another Fred. Make it more than 3, or not 3 anyway. TPS report. Ours updated.
Now,
Haha!
will the other one?
There's
Before
another
I was
Fred.
going to ask you. I was going to ask you to predict whether the other one would work or not.
Well, it's working.
It is working.
Okay,
but you
now
didn't
we can get
predict it.
more.
And now we should go back and we'll see them both.
Nope, not yet. Still just one. We have to send a TPS report. And
Okay.
then we'll see the other Fred.
Got it.
Now we have a Fred 9, which is us, and a Fred 6, which is the other tab. So we go over here, and there's Fred 6 and Fred 9.
Fabulous.
And we can send more TPS reports, but that doesn't have an effect because I haven't added any value per second.
Got it. Woof.
It did.
Get
it
commit.
Did the thing. It did
Get
the thing.
commit.
Okay. And so
we've made it run. Now we can think about. So we're closing in on the end of the session.
Yes.
Let's bring it in for a soft landing.
It sends and receives updates.
Yeah.
With the TPS report button. It's so hard. Everything is so hard.
Yes. Yes, it is. And sometimes for good reason. Sometimes we're making investments that will pay off in the future or might pay off in the future. Sometimes it's just more complicated than it's accidental complexity, stuff that we don't really need and never will need. It's hard to tell which is which.
At this scale, it's still pretty small.
Sure. Yeah. It's
and every little thing is clearly essential, but
right.
Until it doesn't.
So here's a thing I noticed is, and this may just be I'm still soaking in lots of Vue details and RxJS details.
Right.
I wanted to talk about the game, and I simply couldn't switch gears between talking about what characters to type next.
Right.
And this great idea I have for I wanted to be able to you could develop features locally and choose when to integrate. And the cost of an integration.
Oh, wait. You don't mean develop features in this app. You mean you could in the simulation.
In the simulation, yes. This is the downside of meta conversation.
Yeah, this app is so meta.
I want to be sitting there clicking develop features, but they don't actually get deployed yet. And I want to put a bunch of them together, and then I say deploy, and then they deploy, and then the numbers start going up.
And then they cause a bunch of conflicts with what everybody else has.
Exactly. And the more conflicts, the longer the delay before you start seeing actual value coming in. Because I want people to feel that that tension between feature, and now there's a huge disaster versus feature deploy. And the feature deploy in a team setting should result in more value.
Mm-hmm. And we can tweak our system parameters such that it does.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I had that thought.
This one's all about confirming our beliefs.
Not just confirming.
That's what makes it so educational for other people.
We're trying to spread our biases
yes
to the rest of programming.
Our very painfully acquired biases.
Oh, we're right. There's no question about that. More frequent integration and more frequent deployment are just simply virtuous.
Yeah.
Correct. Right. And anybody who says differently is clearly.
Now, that's different from more frequent release. You have to separate the deployment from the release. You can still do that big marketing activity and flip the switch.
Yes. Yeah. But ideally, the choice of the marketing cycle is not directly connected to the development. Programmers shouldn't care once you deliver enough functionality. Now we're talking at yet another level of abstraction of software as a business.
Yeah.
What I was pointing out that is usually easy for me is jumping between layers of abstraction. So usually if I'm in the programming and I want to talk about economics or morality or whatever, I can just pop back and forth. And this one, I really did not want to interrupt the flow of trying to get the type system to accept whatever we were doing in order to discuss the bigger program that we're trying to pursue here.
And that there's a distinction that you've noticed there, which is a lack of fluency in the various frameworks and tools and development environment prevents you from that kind of zooming in and out.
Correct. And there was a period of my career where I was using tools that I was so familiar with that I had zero friction, where I could just pop up and down, and just, it was dead easy. And there's tremendous value in doing that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I think it's one of the core problem of our profession is the level of detail that we need to put into the code and the many levels of value that we need to keep in mind.
Yeah.
The levels that drive the why at many scales.
Yep.
But we did it. I'm going to push.
Good. I'm going to have probably a rum and Coke here. Do you have a beverage preference?
I had wine last night, so I'm not going to drink alcohol today, but I will go make some tea.
Excellent choice. Fantastic. And now?
The banjo, the concluding banjo.
Are we done? Are we done for today? For Sunday?
Oh, God. Sunday. I woke up thinking about this, and I've been on it all day. And now the sun is going down.